All right. And guys, if you mute yourself because of background noise or something, I'm totally okay with that. And yet this is going to be a conversation. So here's what I would like you guys to do for the next 3 minutes, because that's all it'll take, because it's just bullet points. If you could wave a magic wand, what would your life look like 5 years from now? And I want you just to start putting pen to paper. Just let your thoughts flow. I'll continue to throw some nuggets out here for you. Like, what do you want your financial life to look like? What kind of cash flow a month? What kind of savings? What kind of debt or lack of debt? What kind of investments? Interesting. All right. How about your spiritual life? Your personal life, in the way of just you as a human being, not your personal life as in relationships. Is there a conversation with God on a regular basis? Who are you becoming as a person? Who are you as a person 5 years from now? What type of growth, learning? What are you doing? How about your health? Your body composition? You're waving a magic wand. What's that bod? What's that energy like? How about your family? What are you doing with them? You know, what's the primary relationship look like? The spouse. Maybe there isn't one right now. Maybe you're designing that perfect spouse right now in this conversation. How about time with family, time with friends? What's that friend circle like? Who might be in that? What level? We always talk about being in bigger rooms. Who are you hanging out with on a regular basis? What's your community like? Heck, where are you living? That's a great one. What are you doing to give back? What are you doing to lead? What's your business look like? What kind of leadership are you providing? I've thrown a lot of things at you. Keep thinking, keep putting pen to paper. This is your perfect life 5 years from now. No limits. You got a magic wand. I'll even let you do a little brainstorm. What kind of toys in your life? I'm an airplane guy. I'm getting close to having one. It's on my list. Maybe you're a boat person. Maybe you're in multiple properties all over the world. Whatever. There's no wrong answer. Going to give you 30 more seconds. And then, by the way, you can keep writing. It's okay if more things pop into mind as we clear this out. and have a conversation about it. Can't wait to do that. So let's just do a little round robin or popcorn or whatever term we want to use for you guys speaking up and just sharing some of these desires. Because here's what we know. When you speak something into existence, the universe starts working on it. It's the damnedest thing. I spoke it into existence 3 years ago, being in Puerto Rico, and my wife and I went through, no, we're not ever going to go. Not that it wasn't possible. We actually went to, no, we really don't want to do that. And yet here I am in the middle of 2024 living here. When you be careful what you speak into existence. If it's a significant other, if it's a marriage, if it's a baby, just know these things are going to happen. So what do you guys have?
Who starts?
What was that?
Who starts? I guess me. Is that because
No,
I've
this
talked
is when
first?
you speak forward. Yes, you did. Yeah.
I mean, you rattled off a lot of things fast, which got my brain going fast, which isn't hard to do. I mean, financially, you said something about, if you look back at people's financial situations, whatever over the last 3 years and stuff like that, it's just kind of like this and like that. That's probably true. I know that for me, I just started a business in the last 5 years, so mine doesn't necessarily hold true to that just yet. But I don't want it to either. So I don't want to get to a plateau where that becomes my reality of where I'm just kind of dancing around in the same spot. So, 5 years from now, I want obviously my company, Simcoe Painting, to be successful and to continue on the path to success like it seems to be tracking to do. I'm not a realtor. I'm not in real estate or anything. I know a lot of you guys are, but I started this painting business in 2020 when COVID started, and in 2016 I really started this journey of recovery where I had put down some pretty nasty things, and decided I needed to do something different.
Here's what I'm looking for with this exercise, and I'm glad you spoke up first so we can get to it. How much a month cash flow 5 years from now? What would that monthly cash flow to Garrett look like? Because your subconscious loves data. It loves numbers. It loves specifics. So if you say, hey, company, keep growing, well, that could mean this or that could mean that. So do you have yet on that paper specifics of how much in the bank, how much a month, how much debt? Do you have specific numbers written down?
No, I don't want to limit myself to any specific numbers either, really.
I want you to go back and do that. I want you to dream the numbers.
Okay.
And put them on paper.
Okay.
This much a month off of that painting business. This much or zero debt, which is my personal favorite. This much a month saved. Because, in fact, you guys might want to write this down. One of my biggest ahas in my business and in my life. The moment you need the money, it's too late. That's why we plan it ahead like this. Okay? So who else wants to share some of theirs? Thanks, Garrett.
Thanks.
Well, this is Sherry. I can share. For me, 5 years from now, $84,000 a month is the monthly cash flow coming in the house.
Nice.
And this is one of the things that I spoke into existence years ago, and I still feel like it's going to happen, that I'm going to be on a big stage someday, and I don't know where, but I was at a Women of Faith conference a number of years ago and got this feeling of someday I'm going to tell my story like these ladies. So that's coming sometime. And my friend circle is definitely, this is where it's hard to say it nicely, but positive, successful, driven women, as opposed to who I'm hanging with right now, and they're lovely women, but people like Celeste and others that are successful, so I appreciate Celeste every day that we get together.
So do me
and one
a
more
favor,
thing,
Sherry.
pardon me?
Do me a favor, Sherry.
Yeah.
Pick the stage today.
Okay.
What stage do you desire to be on right now?
That's a good question. I mean, I'd even love to just be on the big stage at a national EXP conference. There's a good
Good.
place to
Then
be.
put down EXP Con main stage
Okay.
and watch what happens. Yeah. And by the way, you can always pick something else down the road and add to it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys in the moment, though, to see that, to feel it, to experience that that's the desire. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Looking to get two more. Go, Celeste. Thank you. Always.
I have a whole bunch of stuff, so I'll just start with the top. The question was, in 5 years, what do I want in my what do I want my life to look like? Wow. So I started with income, passive income, 200,000 a year. Investments have grown to $1 million. I take 4 2-week vacations. My personal life, I am healthy. My weight is under control, and I weigh, and I'm not telling you what that is. I go to Pilates 3 to 4 times a week. I walk 5 miles a day. I read 3 books a month. My family is my joy. My son, Tom, is out of college and living the life he wants. My friends travel with me, and we are learning based. Going on a motorcycle.
Let me stop because I want to hit on 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to keep us on our calendar, on our timeline. What is the purpose of holding back the goal number on weight?
Because it's none of your business. Why do you ask me that question?
Because this is about each of us helping each other and 1, holding each other accountable, so checking in, and 2, celebrating our successes as well as our goals. There's no wrong number. No matter what, there's something in the subconscious that either is saying this is a wrong number or saying they'll have judgment over this number.
Yeah.
It's one of the 2. And that's why I'm asking, because I want you to push that aside. So, what's the number?
140.
Nice. Good job. Now, Tom out of college. Anything else around that topic that might be important?
I see him earning between 150 and 170 in his first year out.
Perfect. I love that. What else around that topic might be important?
He's actually considering going into cybersecurity. So
Okay.
that would be an avenue. He can make good money
So
right
can I
away.
give you one other nugget to facilitate this?
Sure.
Debt free.
Yeah, actually, thank
He's
you.
out of college and he's not carrying a bunch of debt with him. That's in your control.
Yeah.
Which also means you're not sucking up debt to make it happen.
Right.
Okay. These are some of the things I want to make happen for you guys. It's important to me that you guys truly get financially free and you get your family where you want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else wish to share?
I will.
Go for it. Thank you.
So some of them are financial freedom. I want to have my organization 50 FLQA, an organization of 500 plus. And I want to be bringing in around 20,000 a month and be able to go on vacation with my family. There's a lot more, but these are some of the main ones.
Let's stay on this piece a minute, though, because it's fun for me. What is the basic math on 500 people in your organization?
I actually don't know what the basic on it is.
I recommend for people to be ultra conservative to use $40 per person
Okay.
per month.
$40 or
40 bucks
40,000?
per person per month is ultra conservative.
500 bucks a year.
So I used 40 bucks per person per month.
Per month.
So 500 times 40 equals what, Maria?
So one
20,000.
person-
20,000. Literally, the numbers you put in place magically already align for the math of the platform you're on. I just want to point out that as you guys do this, you guys just need to know I was way worldview 1. There's worldview 1, worldview 2. Worldview 1 is reality is, and worldview 2 is perception is. Those are the two dichotomies. And I was a whole lot of life worldview 1, cause and effect, black and white, right and wrong. And I started hanging out with a guy by the name of Ron Patulski and started opening up to actually being open-minded and opening up. And I can see time and time again how quantum physics, stuff we cannot understand, is happening. I mean, there's test after test after test in the quantum world that they do that they can replicate the scientific experiment, yet they cannot explain why the outcome is the outcome. And I'm telling you guys, just spending time in here today is going to change the trajectory of your financial and the rest of your life because you just spent some time putting mental energy into it. The first law of thermodynamics: energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transmitted or transferred. By you thinking and putting energy on this, energy's been expended, and it's a neutral sum game. So more's coming. Just watch. What we're going to do with the calendaring is start driving more energy towards the things that matter. So I want you guys to keep considering these things that matter to you, because now we're going to actually start assigning them time. And not everybody here knows kind of my short-term story. So I want to let you guys know. December 19th, we sold our house, and we are still homeless to this day. I have yet been able to secure a domicile. So we are living out of my work backpack and one carry-on piece of luggage. That's it. Since December 19th, my wife and I have lived out of a backpack and a carry-on. And the reason I'm telling you this is what we're about to go through is so critical that the pieces that I'm going to talk to you about travel with me. And we're in them and on them. So the first place I want you guys to be thinking about is we're going to start big. We started 5-year plan, right? And then ultimately we're going to chunk that down. And we're not going to go through that process of chunking down today. Yet I want you to know that we are going to chunk it down a little to at least the calendar piece. So your calendar, again, starting in the same model, should start big, 12 to 18 months. So every single year in July, I buy the next year's wall calendar. Celeste got hers. I got mine folded up. So I have the 2024 calendar, and I'm going to go through some things with you guys on how I want you to do this with this model, and then we'll talk about it. If somebody else has something better, awesome. I'm going to tell you what I do. So we start planning 2025 in July 2024. So I'll be buying that calendar in July, and I'll be carrying 2 calendars now unless I've actually secured a house, which would be so awesome. Maybe even a condo. The things that go on this calendar are personal, first and foremost. You work. All of you are working. And almost every average person I'm talking to is living to work. They miss their kids' athletics. They miss their kids' events. They don't get quality time with their wife. Their life is a shambles because I've got to work. What's the purpose of your guy's life? That's an actual question I want to hear a couple of answers for. What's the purpose of your life? Go, Kelly. I saw you move. What is it? Get that mic hot. God created you, put you down here. You exist. What's the purpose of your life?
To serve. God gave me a servant's heart, and I love serving.
Awesome.
That's why I love getting to do what I get to do for a living, because it helps people, it serves people well.
So let's just stay on that page. The purpose of my
Yeah.
life is to serve. Awesome. Okay.
Absolutely.
I love that one. And boy, can we dive on that. Sherry, I saw your mic come on. What do you got?
Oh, I'm looking for what I have on my phone, but the purpose of life is also serve, that God put me here to serve. And I have some fancy wording around that on my phone. I can't
Excellent.
find it.
Beautiful. Anybody else? What's the purpose of your life?
I am feeling sympathetic with Celeste right now because it's embarrassing. God gave me gifts. Oh, it's on.
I'm listening to you, Dorothy. Keep going.
I have special gifts for music, languages. I mean, I have a very good ear, and teaching and writing. I have written short vignettes of all the leaders, no, a lot of the leaders of EXP, and then I meet them and get to know them better, and I'm dead on every single one of them. However, I totally suck at a lot of other things.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. We're not going to use that language, kiddo. We're not going to have that affirmation.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
that's not happening in my
Cancel,
world. But here's
cancel.
the key.
Cancel,
Here's the key,
cancel.
Dorothy. The purpose of your life is teaching. I heard that. Some people, the purpose, like for me, the purpose of my life was all about my kids and making sure they were taken care of. It doesn't matter what it is. And yet that goes first and gets into your calendar and into your life and focused on your purpose. And only then does work come afterward, because for me and for all of you here, I'm going to sum up all your purposes and to kind of chunk up to one global. The purpose of life is to truly live before you die. Whatever that looks like for you. Live through service, live through teaching, live through my kids. The purpose of life is to truly live before you die. And the purpose of business is to fund that perfect life. Kelly, if you had an extra $100,000 a month coming in every month, could you serve a lot more people?
I could. And I could really, really, really love on them grandbabies.
You can't truly serve the poor and be poor yourself.
Yes.
It doesn't happen. So guys, we are going to start putting our purpose into our calendar, starting with the big boy. And so here's what's going to go layered into this for us. Time with family, first and foremost. So the first thing I always love you scheduling is vacations. How many of you have said to yourself, I'll take a vacation when I have the
Time.
money or time? Time was the second one, Sherry. I was coming with that one next, right? And it never happens. Now, for my old time real estate, my old time real estate agents, I'm going to put you on the spot, Tom.
Yes, sir.
What happens in your real estate business or your painting business or your home inspection? What happens to business the week before a vacation?
You get busier and more proficient.
Things go nuts. All of a sudden, all this business comes flying at you. And since we know that's what happens, that's the pattern. If we want more business,
Schedule
we should
more
schedule
vacation.
more time off.
Huh.
You know,
You heard
Don
that.
Hobbs, because I know the story, you went through this process a decade or so ago. I'll say only a decade ago, okay? Where you were, working with your coach on scheduling. Share what occurred, share the conversations, share what you did and what happened.
Yeah, so this was one of my most important ahas. I had a coach that basically over a period of months, because I only saw him one day a month at $4,000 a day, it's all I could handle. But when he got a hold of us, what he basically said was, I want you to put all the time off on your calendar. I want you to plan your family first. And so, it was like, okay. And he said, how much time do you want off? And he was kind of quizzing me just a little bit like you did, Russ, to kind of tease us up with getting our thoughts around our goals and where we want to be in the next few years. And he said, how much time do you want off? And I said, I'd like to have a 3-day weekend a little bit, I mean, that'd be nice every so often. How often? And he just kept pinning me down. A 4-day weekend, how often? And he just kept pinning me down. And eventually it came to where I walked away from the conversation, went off and planned 12 weeks of vacation, 10 weeks of vacation, 10 weeks of actual vacation, a 4-day weekend every month and a 3-day weekend every month. So that was all planned, right? So that was on purpose. I came back and he said, okay, great. So where are you going to go in all these times? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to take off. He said, where do you want to go? So he pinned me down and I had to literally start thinking about, where am I going to go on the 3-day weekends? Just short getaways, just, even staycations at the Ritz-Carlton, which is right down the street from us. Like, it was a lot of, and what are the trips going to be? Well, I want to take 2 weeks and go to South America for fly fishing. Great. Put that on the calendar. So I had all the time scheduled. And then I had all the stuff that I was going to do in that time. And by the third month was the clincher. He said, all right, this looks really good. How are you going to feel if this is the life you're living? I said, this is unbelievable. I said, it doesn't feel real. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's possible. And he said, I want you between now and the time we're together in a month, I want you to book all of it. Buy the tickets, book the reservations, book the conferences, buy the time off, book the places, and do it all between now and 30 days from now. Which just about, I honestly, I remember the phrase shit bricks was pretty much, it was like, how do I do that? And literally between those 2 dates, we got all of that booked. Now, the good news about that was we actually lived that out. Funny, because I remember my partner and I turned to each other, just the first initial concept, like having every day be a 3-day weekend, right? We got to the point where at one point it was like, I want to take Fridays off. He said, well, I want to take Fridays off. I said, well, why haven't we taken Fridays off? Because he said, you never took them off. And I didn't feel good about it, right? So we were in this guilt thing that just didn't allow us to really do it. So we ended up having 3-day weekends. Eventually we had 3-day weekends every week, and we worked 4-day weeks. And I think that next year I had something like 142 days off. Right now, that's including weekends, but I mean, that was like off, gone, travels, whatever. And what was really fun about it, and this is probably the punchline for a lot of you, was that year we tripled company sales and doubled personal income.
Wow.
Which was shocking. I mean, it was like, you'd think it would be the opposite. I got to give up some of that so I could have some of this. It was like not the case. And I'll give you one final thought on that, which is the premise that he sowed into my brain, which was, since work expands to fill the time for that you allow for its completion, since work always expands, he said, did you ever notice that when you're going on vacation, you're much more efficient with your time? And I said, yes. He said, that's why I want you in vacation mode all the time. Like, I want you to live in vacation mode. So literally, you're always in a crunch. Hey, I'd love to do that, but we're leaving on Friday and I got to have everything done. So I'm going to be very purposeful with my time. And that mindset changed everything. So we were more productive, more on fire, more on purpose, and had the life that we really wanted, which was phenomenal.
So that life on purpose, that planning it out, happens on this bad boy. So this is the Swift Glimpse. You can buy it on Amazon. I bought a smaller one this year because of travels, and the wife didn't like the big one on the wall. So this is only the 36 by 24. I had the 48 by 36 before. And then you're also going to buy these wet erase markers. You can see these are loved. And again, I'm living on the road and this stuff is traveling with me. I do this because every family member has their own calendar. So when we're doing stuff, Marcy or me or us, those are 3 different colors right there. So we keep track of it. And we put on here, first and foremost, the vacations, planning that out. Here is what I would love for you guys to build in your model, yet you can cut it in half. A week off every quarter. That's 4 weeks off a year. And 1 extended weekend every month that you don't have a week off. So that's 8 extended weekends and 4 weeks off. And if you're
One
drunk
extended weekend every
what?
It was 1 week off every quarter and 1 extended weekend when?
Each month that didn't have a week off.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it might look like this starting in January. Extended week, extended weekend, full week, extended weekend, full week, extended weekend. That might be the model. And if you're drunk monkey squealing, I'm going to give you permission to cut it in half for the moment. 2 weeks a year, 4 extended weekends pre-planned on the board. Now, number 2 are your events. There's things coming up. Like I'm going to have a daughter's wedding next year. Probably should be on the calendar. I've got EXPCon on here in Miami, the end of October that I'm going to be at. I've got weddings for other people. Haley's wedding's there. I'm moving my daughter. I'm moving my son. My
Hey,
niece's
Russ.
wedding, the Houston Rodeo. Yes.
So I want to offer something to you as well as to the group because you're dead on. This is exactly what needs to get done. The only order that I would do is I would probably reverse it. And here's my thought is I put the things on it that I have no control over. The daughter's wedding is that weekend. The EXPCon isn't going to move because it's my birthday or because I care. I'm going on vacation. So if I put the things that are business things that I am, or business and whatever commitments that I'm absolutely certain are going to happen, then I plug in all the vacation time around that. It doesn't, I don't have to later go, God, I was going to go to EXPCon, but I already had scheduled the whatever. And when they scheduled it. So as long as I can keep ahead of the company events and the things that daughter things and 50th anniversaries and mom and dad's whatever, and all that stuff, like as long as I can get that stuff on the calendar first, I get a clear calendar to work with for my life.
So here is the Ron Patulski response on that, because I was in that same place. Whose life are we designing?
Ours, for sure.
So design yours first, because nothing is set in stone. This can change and you can choose. Okay, instead of that vacation that week, I'm going to go to EXPCon and do the vacation the week before. You can still choose to make those choices right now. And if you're going through this process, you're now laying your perfect life first and then maybe doing some tweaks
based on other things.
According to the requires. That's okay. And by the way, now any quote require that comes up, we now get to actually make a choice. The reality is there's nothing you have to do except one thing: die. That's out of your control. Everything else between now and then is a choice. Okay? So let's get the events. Let's get the vacations. Let's get everything on here we desire to do. This is the big plan. So we don't get in the weeds on this. Now, for me, so you guys know, a couple other things, like I have those moving of my kids. We're taking a big event to Las Vegas, so that's on here. I'm going to spend a week at my mom's. That's on here. I'll be, by the way, I'll be in Dallas in October, Dawn, for a wedding. So we might connect then. And then, of course, December, I always have family time that we do. So we meet in front of this, Marcy and I, a minimum of once a month and review how things are looking, what we want to do, anything we want to change, anything we want to add. So when I had this up on the wall in January, it really only had January, February, a little bit of March. It didn't have much else until December because we know we always do the family December thing. And as the year evolved, we kept showing up. So revenue generating activity. If I'm going off to teach or something, I sell green. So we just made Russ's stuff green. Marcy's stuff actually on here is purple. She went to Puerto Vallarta on her own in January. Left me at home at the condos to work on construction projects. And then blue is us together. And there's a lot of that on here. The other reason you want to color code it like this is if you have more business events, more revenue generating business events than family, you and your spouse events, you might want to reflect on that. If you're doing more stuff solo than you are together, you might want to reflect on that. Yes, Dorothy, you have a question. I thought your hand was up.
I was actually wiggling my finger, sorry. But I do
No,
have a
nothing
question.
wrong with that.
No, I
Perfect.
do have a question and I can ask it later if you like.
Is it on the big calendar?
I want to know the exact name and serial number so I can buy a calendar just like it.
So, Celeste, you've got yours. If you can run a quick search on that and throw it in there. Just look in Amazon under Swift Glimpse. And this is the 36 by 24. By the way, make sure it's the 2024 version. And it's double-sided. So I went horizontal on mine. The back side of it is vertical if you prefer vertical instead. So it does both. Any questions on the yearly?
I have something.
Go, Sherry.
I have been for months, probably a year now, trying to figure out how years ago I figured out the secret to shrink my work week, came up with this time management book, put like 1,200 hours back in me, and why can't I figure it out again? And Don just said it. It's because when I figured this all out, I had gotten a job that only allowed me to work 40 hours a week, and I had to fit it in. I managed my largest project ever in those 40 hours a week. That's my problem. I sit all night long. I got to work to do. Oh my gosh, poor me. I'm not getting stuff done because there's no urgency. That is
Awesome.
changing today.
Great aha. Love that. So once we've got this, we're now going to take all these pieces and copy them down to Google Calendar. I use Google Calendar. Again, you can use another platform. That's okay. I'm just going to show you Google Calendar. Once we've got it in Google Calendar, then we're going to start laying in some more personal stuff that happens on a weekly basis or a daily basis. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then only after all of that is done do we put the business in. The business goes in last. So before we go into that, though, I want to ask you something, Sherry, because you brought it up great. For your business, I don't care if it's painting, real estate, home inspection, the job description as an entrepreneur is pretty much the same. Lead generate, lead follow-up, go on appointments, and negotiate contracts. Even in the painting world, in theory, we should have other people putting the paint on the wall because we're the owners. Now, we may not be there yet. As real estate agents, we not be there yet that we can have a buyer's agent out showing houses. So we're still having to do those things. Yet the primary job description, lead generate, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. All that needs to be on the calendar. So I'm going to show you guys the calendar, and then I'm going to walk you through the level of layers that went on here, because I have built, in theory, the perfect real estate agent calendar.
I have a very drunk monkey question.
Go for it. Throw it out there.
I don't even like asking it. So Don had his thing where, the challenge, go do this. My short-sighted thinking is, well, I can't go schedule a vacation or whatever because I don't have any money. That's my present situation. And saying this to a bunch of mostly strangers, three people that I feel like I know pretty well, makes me hugely uncomfortable, a little embarrassed. But what do you say?
Well, first question I have for you, Tom, are you a man of faith, religious, a God?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you
Almost
going to
drowned
heaven?
once. Yes.
How do you know?
How do I know?
How do you know?
I mean, I have the faith that I'm going. Oh, are you leading me? Is that what I'm supposed to? Anyway, go ahead.
Well, you just said it, I have the faith. It's going to happen.
Yeah. As soon as I
What
said
if
it,
you
I
had
heard it.
that same faith on scheduling the time off that you knew it was going to happen?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's similar to that's so simple and it's profound at the same time. Celeste and I had conversations. And
So
where I
Tom,
was,
this is all about the story in our head, the conversations we're making. You saw me in the bold room. If I walked around that room all day thinking in my mind, I'm going to trip, 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 what would have happened?
you would have been tripping.
Okay. It's interesting how we as human beings, because of the way we have been raised and the cultural implications that we have been indoctrinated into, if it's something negative, it absolutely is true. And if it's the flip side, something positive, no, it could never happen. And yet they have the exact same energy.
Yeah, I mean what if it doesn't happen? And the opposite of that is, what if it does?
Well,
Hey.
it's faith. It's going to happen, because if I walked, I didn't say, oh my God, what if I trip? What if I trip? That isn't it. We believe I'm not going to make the money. I'm not going to make the money. I'm not going to make the money. And so what shows up?
No money.
And yet, if you knew with such conviction that you were putting it on the calendar, you had faith in that higher power, you had faith in yourself, you knew that you were in the right environment to plug you in and get you going, and you just leaned into it, you knew it would happen. That level of faith. So,
Right. Well, I mean, so fear of success is what I think has been versus not fear of failure. And
the loop on that actually is usually you've been successful, you're not. If I get successful again, I'm going to be not again. That's usually the fear of success. And it's, oh my gosh, people are going to see me fail. It's actually fear of judgment.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, that is so true, Coach Russ. Ugh.
wow.
How about we start letting that stuff go and just be the authentic people we were created to be? I mean, Tom, you and I have similar philosophical leanings, so I'll just talk through you to everybody else.
Okay.
You believe in God.
Yeah.
Does your God make crap?
No.
Do you know, if my memory is serving me correctly, the mathematical odds of that sperm hitting that egg is like 1 in 7 billion.
Right. Yeah. Well, I believe you.
And God made the choice that this world needed a Tom. And does it make crap? We look at newborns, our grandchildren, our children. Are they not freaking perfect? Do they not have every possibility ahead of them? They could be anything. They could accomplish anything. Because we know intuitively that our Creator creates perfection. We then spend elementary school, junior high, high school, picking up baggage from everybody. Our parents think they're doing the best to protect us and provide some baggage that they think is padding. And our teachers think they're doing the right thing because they've been taught this is how you teach. So they point out all the crap you do wrong and pick up baggage. And then, man, junior high, your friends are really sweethearts, aren't they?
Hmm.
As we're all figuring ourselves out, beating up on each other, because know that the way we actually grow biologically, empathy doesn't exist in those stages of our life. Because if we had empathy, we wouldn't do whatever it took to get fed. That whole primordial lizard brain, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have empathy. And so empathy comes later in life, and yet we're still living a pre-empathy mindset. And so I'm challenging you again on the calendar, plan it, believe it, and then start leaning into it. Tom, I was a big dog in that last company. I was living a big life in that last company. And I walked away from that. Was that maybe a little tough? Maybe a little scary?
Yeah.
And yet I had faith the people that I was leaning into here were going to help me power through and do something even more magnificent.
So interestingly,
on this, I want to challenge you, Tom, and then I'll let you drop it in.
Yeah.
Believe in the room you're in and the people you're hanging with every day to help you make sure that happens. Okay? Now go.
A couple of weeks ago, I was in a mastermind Zoom call, and we were asked to say something that we want to do or we're supposed to do, which is something I said to you, actually. And when I was saying it, it was strangers, and I was very uncomfortable and kind of shaky. And so when I started to say this stuff just now, I knew because of the nervousness and or dis-ease, the uneasiness that I felt, that I was supposed to say it, but I sure didn't want to. And I'm glad that I did.
So let's work together to fix that immediate challenge, and let's follow the models, which will help happen. So let's get into the calendar with our last 6 minutes here. Go, Celeste.
As I'm watching us go through all this exercise, the one thing I'm getting today that I, for some reason, never quite got before was to get understanding and clarity on what do you want? If you don't have a clear understanding of really, like gutturally, what do you want? How is it possible that you're going to even manifest it? And my example would be the conversation about my weight. How long have I talked about wanting to lose weight? And it's all been noise because I haven't put it down and said, this is what I want. And how am I going to make it happen? So if it's trying to change, or not try, when you want to change what your monthly income is, break it down and say, okay, if that number is 20, like Maria just said, what does that mean? How does that grow to get to be 20? Well, it's as simple as you got to get people in your downline. That's it.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Don't be, I'm the one that's the victim of this.
All of this is simple. And by the way, success is simple, not easy. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. Okay, so let's get into the calendar here. Let me do a quick share screen. Let me get into the calendar because I'm going to show you the perk of real estate. And I'm going to give you some rules on this. Number one, it is built, each day is built as a silo. So I built Sunday, standalone by itself. I built Monday, standalone by itself. I built Tuesday, standalone by itself, and it repeats each week. So this church on Sunday at 9:30 to 1:30, I built for Sunday. I put it blue because it is personal for Mama and I. and it repeats every Sunday. That's now. Do you guys put work on your calendars? Do you put appointments when you're going to go show houses?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have date night on your calendar every week? So think about what you're telling your spouse. This stranger is more important than you because I will give them of my time. You, though, I'll get to you when I have the time. So you'll see on the calendar that on Thursday nights, there's date night. On Friday, family night. I built this back when I was in production. I had the kids at home. They got a scheduled day no matter what, blocked out, nothing else can happen. Do we have a morning ritual or morning checklist? We should. So I built that in. Going to the gym, getting our exercise, that's built in. Then we start laying in life of a real estate agent. So you'll see these big blocks, 3 hours, 2.5 hours a time, labeled LABAFULG. That stands for listing appointment, buyer's appointment, follow-up lead gen. Because that's the order of importance. If all you had were appointments to go out and somebody wanted to meet to sign a contract, to list the house, to have it painted, you'd be a wealthy person. So it's the number one importance. It's not the top priority. Lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiation, that's priority order. So they're labeled that way. So instead of being reflexive, oh, when do you want that appointment? I'll get it then. You ever call your accountant and say, I need an appointment? Does he go, oh, please tell me when you're available so I can work my life around you? Or your attorney or your doctor? Celeste, your doctor shows up 15 to 30 minutes late every time because they're living their life. This is about you building yours. So you build those blocks. Now when a request comes in, you can say, hey, how's Monday at 3:30 or Tuesday at 11? And then you go into that appointment and you change the name of it to listing appointment for 123 Main Street. Now, Sherry, today is the 15th, right?
Yes.
And it's 2 o'clock your time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock your time. Perfect. Do you have a listing appointment this afternoon?
I have a buyer's appointment at 6.
You have okay, between now and 6, do you have a listing appointment?
No.
Do you have a buyer's appointment?
No.
So what should we be doing for those 5 hours?
Should be following up and lead genning.
Having conversations. All of us get paid in direct proportion to the conversations we have. And let me ask one more fun question, especially since we've had some conversations about not having revenue. We know what the job description is. Lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. If I hired you to do the job of a real estate agent with that job description, and I had hired you January 1 to do the job of real estate based on that job description, and I hired you full-time, 40 hours a week, because that's a full-time job. By show of hands, how many people should I be firing today? Okay? That's the only reason. Sherry had the best aha I love today. Well, wait, my life was organized because I was working for somebody else, so I had to put the 40 hours in. Entrepreneurs are looking for 3 things in life: freedom, flexibility, and wealth. And they lean into the freedom and flexibility, and the wealth never shows up. The calendar is going to solve that. So a couple other things I want to point out. All my revenue generating activity is dark green. Revenue preparing activity, or could lead to revenue, is light green. So you'll see the mindset mastermind, I got to change that on here, is at 10 o'clock. The Monday agent training, tech training that we were doing, the coming up, right now with Maria, Wired Wednesdays. And you should have multiple sections of flex time, 2 to 3 a day, because right now you allow distractions to knock you off what you should be doing. So where's my happy little book? Here it is. When something hits my little head that I should do, it gets written right here. What's this book say?
We can't see you.
I can't see you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could, but I'll change it anyway. I'll stop sharing. Now you can.
Someday today.
When am I going to do it?
Someday today.
Someday. It doesn't
Someday
have to be done in the moment. We jump on stuff in the moment because it's an excuse to get off what we know we should be doing. So instead, it just gets written in here. And then during flex time, I can look and go, okay, that, and check them off. And by the way, are there some things that I thought of that were brilliant that have never gotten done? And have I captured them? Here's the reason why this model is playing for me at such a high level. Do I know what's on my calendar tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I have no clue.
You better.
My subconscious has let it go. I don't have to remember anymore. My subconscious knows I'm following a system, so I don't have to keep that stuff bouncing around in my melon. When I see it tomorrow, that's what I'm doing. And I know I have a system that I'm following. Do I have to keep my list of things I want to do in my head? Going, oh gosh, I got to remember to do this. Oh gosh, I got to remember to do that. Oh gosh, I had this great idea yesterday. What was it? Do I have to play those games anymore? My subconscious knows it's all in this happy little book. I can now use my mind to get the things done I need. So I want to show you guys just so you can see reality, because I am no longer producing. This is reality. And the only reason I have white blocks is opening up time for you guys to schedule. I have learned now how to change things so I don't have that. You'll also see it's all linear. There's not a bunch of overlap. Okay. Color coordinated, dark green revenue generating, light green revenue creating. I'm doing a more light green now to help you guys. Blue for me. And Friday afternoons off with the wife, dinner and gym, her and I making things happen. This is a life by design. And so just so we can see, I'll look here with you guys. So tomorrow, I got my financial masterminds with you guys from 1 to 2. And that is perfect. That's like legit. Things change. I got my computer to show up on Puerto Rican time. I'm excited. So any other questions for Coach Russ on the calendaring piece and beginning to build your life?
So I guess I have a question. So like
Oh,
we
sure.
say there's a class to take that falls in the, lead gen time. Do you just move the lead gen time then so you can take the class?
What's the class?
Well, I'm just saying in general.
Oh, no, I'm saying specific, because we will get all of a sudden, okay, I can do this instead of lead gen. Oh, I have got have you seen my freezer? I've got to defrost the freezer. I'm going to do that during lead gen time.
Yeah. What about they have a mastermind for Bundle Select? I'm sending
Awesome. Love to have a mastermind for Bundle Select. Do you have enough revenue right now? Are you hitting your magic pending number so you can pay your bills?
No.
Then the answer is no. Lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. Until your pipeline is making the dollars to pay your bills and keep your household afloat, the answer for anything else is
no.
Oh, another
Negative.
shiny object, which doesn't get us there. We're going to stay on this now. We get the pipeline up. In real estate, I use the magic pending number. and you're hit, and now you have that pending. Now you can start shifting to other stuff. You can start shifting to some other education for some additional cash flow. You can shift to more marketing and make Don Hobbs happy and start driving inbound traffic. Yet if you do not have the revenue to pay your bills, you've got to work on lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. Period. That's your work day. Now, if you want to do some other stuff after hours, go shoot some videos in the evening, go run through a high-powered sprinkler and blow your eye out. Awesome. Love that. Okay?
Most people don't understand your humor. Definitely not.
I
me.
know.
That was pretty
They're
random.
going, my, that was highly specific.
Yeah,
It
what the hell?
was- That was me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, and it was reclaimed water for irrigation.
Yeah.
So he really got to enjoy that. So, all right. Any other questions for me, guys?
Well, I'm not trying to be difficult. I just want to talk about something. So like for me, Bundle Select is a way to get the revenue coming in by getting these companies signed up.
Okay. So how long you been here, Sherry?
At EXP since July of last year,
And how long you been in real estate?
5 years.
5 years. And so how many new shiny things have shown up that you thought, oh, that's going to do it?
Lots.
Okay. Knock the shit off. You have your database right here. You lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. Once you've got the revenue, then we can talk about a new shiny thing that's going to solve a new problem.
Okay.
Okay. So here, ask me about another one, because what's my answer going to be?
No.
And lead generate, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Sell your stuff. Now, if you have to do, that's why we have the appointments, because like Garrett, he may be selling, and right now he may have to go out and actually put the paint on the wall. So he's got to plan his day and let his clients know, okay, paint on the wall time is 7 to 2, so I can work on business building from 2 to 5. His calendar is going to have that flex where we can still live the life building the business, having that time in there and generating more business.
And by
Okay.
the way, Ross, you talked about the kind of marker you're using. What kind of marker is it?
Expo,
Erase.
vis-a-vis, wet erase, not dry erase. It is the 8-pack, or as Milovic said, the multi-pack.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? So here's the fun part. I expect if you guys show up next week and we do something next week here, that you're going to show your calendars. Like you're seeing mine right now. It's there. And now that I've looked at it, I know I got extra time tomorrow. And what the way I have openings on my calendar tomorrow. What am I going to be doing?
Going through your someday to-do list.
Making calls.
Having conversations, lead gen.